And I think 2025 could be the year that silver, I'm not saying it's going to be silver's year because I think going forward past 2025, we're going to have huge moves in silver and gold, but it could be the year that silver starts to take off and outperform gold. That's my forecast for 2025. I mean, gold and silver have been really steady, especially gold, since the beginning of the century. It's returned almost 10% a year, and this year it's returned like almost 3 times that.
Supported by increasing industrial and financial demand, analysts predict silver prices are likely to outperform gold in 2025. The global silver market has been facing a persistent supply deficit, primarily driven by mining disruptions. This constrained supply, coupled with rising industrial demand, has significantly contributed to the rally in silver prices. Industrial applications now account for a dominant 55.8% share of global silver consumption, underscoring its importance across various sectors. Renowned expert and trader Mario Innecco underscores silver's rise against the US dollar, matching gold's performance. He predicts 2025 could mark silver's outperformance, with major moves for both metals ahead as fiat currencies continue to devalue. When stock markets crash and currencies lose value, gold typically retains or even increases its value. Investors flock to it as a safe haven asset. The 2008 financial crisis is a perfect example. As markets plummeted, gold prices soared, demonstrating its resilience and attractiveness as a hedge. Addressing comparisons to Bitcoin, Mario dismisses it as a reliable measure of currency value due to its extreme volatility, suggesting it could drop up to $40,000 in the short term. Based on market potential, Mario mentions gold and silver as stable long-term savings, with gold averaging 10% annual returns since 2000. He sees major producers and central banks increasing gold reserves in anticipation of a debt-based system collapse. As we enter the final stretch of 2024, with the international gold price having made continual new highs during the last 8 months, it's encouraging to see that central banks, collectively, are still large net buyers of physical gold for their monetary gold reserves. According to the World Gold Council's just-released Gold Demand Trend Report, central banks and other official sector institutions added a net 694 tons of gold to their monetary gold reserves during the first 9 months of 2024. Now, we present the clips of Mario Innecco's insights from his recent interview. Before we continue to discuss this, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
Silver's up 28.71%. Versus the dollar. So its performance has matched gold, which in my opinion is leaving a lot of room for silver on the upside. And I think 2025 could be the year that silver, I'm not saying it's going to be silver's year because I think going forward past 2025, we're going to have huge moves in silver and gold, but it could be the year that silver starts to take off and outperform gold. That's my forecast for 2025. I'm sorry, I don't have exact price forecast. That's always very, very tricky. But as I said, they're going to continue, to sink the fiat currencies. And the only way you can measure fiat currencies is versus gold and silver. Some people might say, oh no, it's against Bitcoin. I'm sorry, it's not, because even though Bitcoin might go to 200,000 by the end of 2025, we could see it down to 40,000 before it gets there later on in the next few months. That's how volatile and dangerous it is. And I still think the base for savings, long-term savings, is physical gold and silver. But anyway, the exploration companies, they haven't even dug the gold out of the ground. They're not producing. It's more speculative. They're drilling to try to find the resources and hopefully developing their finds into a mine by selling to the bigger companies or trying to build it themselves. But the major mining producing companies, they're like a mint. They're going to be the next central banks, even though they're not central. They're going to be producing the reserves for the next, the new monetary system, in my opinion. It's not going to be the Bitcoin miners right? And that's why the central banks around the world, outside the West, well, even in the West, countries like Poland, they're buying gold hand over fist because they know what's coming. This current debt-based system is on its last legs. So I'm trying to tell you that I think you need to be strong and believe in the fundamentals and not let change your path. And I mean, gold and silver have been really steady, especially gold, since the beginning of the century. It's returned almost 10% a year. And this year it's returned like almost 3 times that.
Concerns about global debt levels and monetary policy could continue to support gold prices. As governments worldwide maintain loose monetary policies to manage their debt burdens, the risk of future inflation remains a concern for many investors. Experts like Mario Innecco states gold and silver's steady value, noting 2023 gains of 28.7% in dollars and over 35% in euros and Swiss francs due to monetary easing and rate cuts. He predicts continued currency debasement, reinforcing gold and silver's role as reliable stores of value. During the 1970s, when the United States experienced significant inflation, gold demonstrated its potential as an inflation hedge. As the Consumer Price Index, CPI, rose dramatically, gold prices surged from $35 per ounce in 1971 to over $850 by 1980. This period served as a powerful example of gold's ability to preserve wealth during times of monetary instability. Let's get back to the interview.
Gold and silver have been very boring. Of course, if you compare it to this tech craze, this AI craze, I'm not saying AI is a bad thing, but I think people are getting ahead of themselves. So I've looked at some numbers today just to give you an idea of what's going on and what I think is going to happen in 2025. It's always tricky making predictions, but I'm going to make it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit it. But looking at where we are today, and I took these prices from 8 a.m., it's actually 20 past 8, but you have to take a price somewhere, even though the price of gold and silver, they trade almost 24/7. They're probably the most liquid metals in the world, I would say, because they're money. But anyway, back on the 29th of December, 2023, gold was fixed, AM fixing in London at 2,062.40. And for this exercise, I took gold at 2653.60. So up 28.66%. Yes, it's falling behind the tech space and Bitcoin. Am I concerned? No. I think it's a good thing. Gold and silver are still under the radar, nowhere near to being overbought. But even that I don't buy into. I think, unfortunately, our fiat currencies, they're going to continue to sink, and gold and silver are going to keep going up. Not because something new and special has been found about gold and silver, but it's because they've been around for thousands of years and people have always valued them. And when everything around you loses value because of the credit bubble unwinds, that's what happens. It's very simple. So in pounds, we closed the year last year at 1622. And right now, or a few minutes ago, we were at 2100. So that's a 29.47% rise. So you can see by that number there that the dollar is slightly higher, has outperformed the pound versus gold. So it hasn't been debased as much, but very, very little difference. But the currencies that have done really badly are the euro and the Swiss franc in terms of the major currencies. I haven't looked at the yen, but it's even worse. And the reason why I think this is so is because they're cutting their rates, especially the Swiss. They cut rates last week. They halved their rates from 1% to 50 basis points. It was a surprise. ECB cut as well. But their prices in gold, the price of gold in euros is up 35.41%. And in Swiss francs, the supposed safe haven currency, it's 36.27. And I think the same thing is going to keep happening going forward. And what do I mean by the same thing? Well, we're going to see continued debasement of the major fiat currencies versus gold and silver.
Silver prices have retraced from their peak. The underlying fundamentals remain strong. Supported by increasing industrial and financial demand, analysts predict silver prices are likely to outperform gold in 2025. How do you see the role of gold and silver evolving in an increasingly uncertain economic landscape, and could they eventually replace fiat currencies as primary reserves? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the following video.